Welcome to the Verdin Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdict. Got my guy G-Sportz with me. G, what's up, man? It's Friday. You gotta be feeling good today on Friday.
For sure. Going to cover the Thibodeau High and South Lafourche week one game today
Okay.
in the jungle. Looking forward to seeing how the high school season about to pop off. And then tomorrow we're in Tiger Stadium, baby.
Who you got tonight out of that game, and then who's your sleepers for Louisiana high school football this season?
I definitely got Thibodeau High. Been very impressed with first year head coach Lowell Norcease thus far since he took over the program. I think it was somewhere in February. Um, he has been doing a really good job of creating a culture early on. I was able to see some film on them from the fall scrimmage and the jamboree, and they look like a totally different team from last year. So they got a good receiving core, a quarterback with a lot of potential, some athletes on the defensive side of the ball here and there. So I think you're going. I think I can see them probably going about 6-4 this year, and having an opportunity to get in the playoffs. So, and then I think Terrebonne and Edie White is probably the two best teams in the Tri Parish, in my opinion. I think both of those programs could possibly get to the second or the third round of the playoffs this year.
I'll be popping out. Hey, if Terrebonne goes to the playoffs, Coach TY, you know I'm there. I'm gonna have to rep. I'm gonna have to support, man. Try Pair stand up. Let's jump into this LA Tech coverage. G. Brian Kelly took the podium, had his weekly Thursday show at TJ Ribs, and gave us a bit of information. First thing he talked about DJ Pickett. Said he's only getting better. He's gonna keep getting reps. Freshman phenom. He's been able to I'm not gonna say surprise everybody because when you're the number one corner, G, people expect this type of thing from you. So people thought he was gonna be a big playmaker. But with what we saw, DJ Pickett in week one, dog, I mean, he's playing in the clutch, in the prime time, in a moment where not a lot of corners are even gonna be able to get the sniff. But a freshman corner, I mean, DJ Pickett, I think, has all the intangibles, the size, the speed, the intellect. But what do you think makes him so special and what's getting him on the field here in week one?
He just have some redeeming qualities about him that you just can't coach. 6'4", with a 80-inch wingspan. A receiver could have two to three steps of yards of ground on him, and he could still be covered because of the length from DJ Pickett. And so when you have a kid that has ball skills because he played receiver in high school, and I think that's why he can track the ball so well at DB, it makes it tough to make a throw to a receiver when he's covering him, bro. And
Yep.
then I think that what you're gonna see Blake and Cole Raymond continue to do, they're gonna put him in positions to be successful and win. Put him in the game when they're in the red zone. Put him in the game and put him in the boundary where he doesn't have a whole bunch of field to cover. I think doing that early on in his freshman season will give him some confidence. And then as the season progresses and you see him starting to understand and grasp the defense more and more, you could put him into the field, all right, and let him cover more ground. But right now, I think that's what you're going to see Blake and Cole Raymond continue to do. I think he played 23 snaps on Saturday. You don't want to put a whole bunch of baggage on his plate early on, in my opinion, and get him overwhelmed. I think that was really good by Blake, and C Ray saying, look, we're not gonna go out there and just start him and make him play 50 plus snaps. We're gonna kind of spoon feed him and bring him along slowly. And this past week it was 23 snaps. Against Louisiana Tech, it might be 28 snaps. Then against Florida, it might turn into 30 snaps. You know what I mean? You kind of just bring him along slowly and continue to build his confidence up. But like I said in the beginning of this segment, bro, when you 6'4" and you could turn and run and you have the ball skills that he has, that's just something you can't coach, and you don't find too many DBs with that stature that's coming into college football every day.
No doubt. I've never seen it. And then it's interesting too, because when there's a freshman DB or just a weaker target on the field, normally offensive coordinators go after that. And gee, this is a target. This is a player you're not really trying to go after, dog. Then he's got that confidence. You've seen the clip of him on the sideline in Clemson, writing on a dry erase board, ball up top, and holding up to the fans, like, "Yeah, I'm here. This is my team. I'm
Well,
ready."
well, well, I think you're going as the season goes on, you will see teams attacking. I promise you that. I think if Dabo Sweeney could go back, him and his OC could go back and do it all over again, they would have tried different ways to isolate DJ and see if they can attack him in a way where to see if the lights was too bright for him. And I think probably not this week so much against Louisiana Tech, but when they go against Florida and when they go against the Oklahomas of the world and the Bamas and people like that, I could promise you they will find a way to isolate DJ Pickett and test him.
It'll be interesting to see because out of like the entire freshman classes we've been bringing in, this is probably the prospect that I felt the most confidence about. The most like, okay, cool, yeah, he's bringing it to the table. In terms of the overall product that they were able to put out there, I think Caden Durham might take the cake because he's still your running back one last season. He had a hell of a year, but DJ Pickett got something special about him.
And Tiger fans got to understand too, man. He's a true freshman. Look, he gonna go through some bumps in the road this year. It's gonna be a game or two or three where he might give up a touchdown or a long pass or miss a tackle. All right, don't crucify the kid. He's gonna have his mistakes here and there. But I think you're gonna see him continue to show flashes that he has an opportunity to be one of the best, if not the best, corner in the country when it's all said and done.
And we talked to Corey Raymond about that, dog. That's the curse of DB, bro. Like TJ Pickett or just a DB in general goes out there 50 snaps, perfect. That 51st play, the last play, the only play he gives up something. That's what the fans are going to remember. Like, yeah, you're not going to have to nitpick something like that. Give him some credit, give him some flowers, build the confidence, and then stack days. And I think he's going to be one of your best corners that you've seen in a hell of a long time. Let's talk about Juwan Johnson real quick. BK was giving him some flowers, called him aware, selfless, called him instinctive, and he said that he's positive to the offense just by being out there. Now, the selflessness, it's obvious. I mean, bro, you go from DB to running back to quarterback, back to running back. I mean, whatever makes the team win, whatever helps the team improve, Juwan Johnson's all on board for it. And I like the way that they were able to use him on Saturday last week against Clemson. I feel like this is a big piece for this offense in terms of we're trying to make it balanced. Brian Kelly was saying we don't want to be a one-trick pony. We want to be able to set up the run, set up the play action, yada, yada, yada. Everyone's calling for creative run packages. Juwan Johnson is about as creative can get. And I think that could be a potential X factor for Joe Sloan here. What do you think about Juwan Johnson, the way they used him, and if you think they can do something potentially different with him?
I like it. I hate to see what happened to JT Lindsey, and that was the reason why Jawan Johnson was awarded this opportunity. But I said it in the spring, and I said it throughout the summer that I thought Jawan Johnson should stick to playing running back.
Yeah.
Although I know he's a capable quarterback, and I know he's a competitor, and he wanted to prove to all the naysayers that he can do it and try to compete for that starting job when Nussmeier leaves. But I think when you talk about the NFL and the next level, I think Jawan Johnson would fit perfectly in what the NFL is doing with running backs now. Being able to get on the perimeter, being able to motion to the slide and catch balls, catch swing passes, even in a return game. I think he's that kind of dynamic player. And so I think this is something that him and his uncle Jerry, who's been really, really close to him throughout his process, I think they're gonna look back at this down the road and feel like this is a blessing in disguise.
No, I agree 100%. Someone in the chat, G's asking, is Caleb Jackson third string? I thought he was second string. I'm looking at the statistics right here in terms of carries. Caden Durham had 17 carries. Jawan and Zay both
Barrett
had
had
3.
one.
Harlem and Caleb each had 1. So what would you
Caleb
say
had
right
a
now? Is
Caleb
it
had a
my
carry on Saturday.
yeah, had 1 carry. I'll tell you exactly for how much. 1
I didn't
carry
even.
minus 1 yards.
I don't know how I missed it. I didn't even see him get a carry on Saturday. Okay.
Is this more of a by committee situation? You got Caden
Yeah.
Durham right here, and
Yeah.
then you're
For
just gonna
sure.
ride the hot hands?
Yeah. I think each week is going to be different. One week it might be Kate. Look, Durham gonna always be RB1. Like
Right.
we know that. We know that. But after that, certain games you might see Caleb get majority of the carries. Another week it might be Jawan Johnson. Another week it might be Harlem Berry. Like it's just gonna depend on how they want to attack that opposing defense each week. So
Mhm.
I don't think this is any kind of indication that Caleb Jackson is in the doghouse. I just think against Clemson, they wanted to attack them a certain way, and Jawan Johnson was the person that was going to get majority of the snaps that week. So I think Caleb Jackson's role is still going to be pivotal to the season. And we talked
Mhm.
about it with Jacob Hester in Atlanta about they're gonna need that other back that could get them tough yards on 3rd and 2 and on the goal line. So Caleb Jackson is somebody they're gonna really, really need to depend on when you talk about the rest of the season.
And that's his forte at that build. The lean forward, bang you up, bruise you a little bit. Yeah, I mean, dialing it back last year to Mississippi State play, or shit, 2 years ago. My bad. I mean, bro, that's the Caleb Jackson we trying to see this season. I think we could potentially do it. Let's change gears real quick. Brian Kelly said something about Michael Van Buren. I want to talk to you about this because I did kind of pick your brain about this during the growing pains in camp. And you were saying, look, with a quarterback too, he don't got to be perfect in camp. You just want to be able to see a couple of things that make you show, okay, cool, he's going to be a good quarterback for us in the future. Brian Kelly, he supported what you were saying. He said, we feel right now Michael Van Buren can go out and win us a game. We've seen growth in protections and progressions. And I want to ask you this as well. I feel like, let's say whatever. Yeah, LSU brings in a transfer quarterback. Wouldn't Van Buren potentially have a leg up because he's got familiarity with the staff, the scheme, and he's been in the building? Like, could he potentially still be the guy regardless of whatever was going on throughout the summer and regardless of if LSU brings in somebody else because he's got that experience? And that's kind of been the main thing we've harped on all offseason about the most important aspect you bring.
Right. I'll address what Brian Kelly said first. Now, you got to take that with a grain of salt. Of course, BK not going to get on the podium and say, if Michael Van Buren had to go in the game, I would be very concerned. I don't think he's ready.
Rude. Yeah.
He's not going to say that, bro. That's
Right.
just not going to happen.
That's like the O
Having said
line
all,
comment.
yeah, having said all of that, I watched Michael Van Buren at Mississippi State last year when he got thrown in as a true freshman, and he showed the capability to play in this league. I know that. And I always bring this up, bro. I don't know too many people that can go in against Georgia as a true freshman and throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Right.
I don't know too many that can do that as a true freshman, bro. And I've been following Michael Van Buren since he was in high school. I remember the first time I saw him, bro. They came down here for 7-on-7 for the battle tournament at Tag Goma. He was playing for Team Raw, and he was spinning it all over the place. At that time, he was committed to Oregon, but I've been tracking him ever since, and he has all the ability to be the next starting quarterback at LSU. But what is it going to come down to? His development, him knowing and really understanding that offense and what Joe Sloan wants, knowing how to go through his progressions, understanding protection. Like, it's just a lot of different nuances of that offense. He's just going to have to get more comfortable with and being able to critical think fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about. Things going to have to slow down for him. And how does that happen? Reps. This week against Louisiana Tech, like I said, that's why I'm excited to see LSU get the thing over quick so we could see Michael Van Buren. And so BK and Joe Sloan could evaluate him properly and see, is this somebody that we could depend on for the future? Now, I don't care how good he looks against Louisiana Tech, and when they play Southeastern, and he say he lights it up. You have to know that LSU will bring in a quarterback from the portal. It's just
100%.
gonna happen, bro. They're gonna bring in an experienced quarterback from the portal. They want to create healthy, competitive competition in that room, right? We know we got Colin Hurley in that room too, right? But you just don't know. You know he got all the ability, but you just don't know what they expect. So you have to bring an experienced quarterback in that room to compete with Michael Van Buren next year.
Yeah, 100%. Because if not, you're gonna be screwed if you were wrong on your assessments of who you got in this room. You always
Or if he doesn't develop how you think he should.
exactly. Yep. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go into account here. I agree though. Transfer portal quarterback is almost a certain, almost a given here at this point. Last thing Brian Kelly said before we get into the transfer portal talk, the transfer portal window oversight committee. He said that Clemson could be the best defense LSU plays all season, and I want to give the offensive line some credit because I was skeptical. I didn't know if they were going to be able to do it, and they did it. Only gave up one seed. So if this was their toughest test, and they are performing like that, should be a good season. Should be a good year. G. Not gonna lie, don't want to overreact. But what's your takes on that? What's your take on them playing Clemson? Do you think Clemson will be their toughest defense? I mean, the only other tough defense that you got, I would say Oklahoma. I'm giving you some credit.
Florida gonna be tough on next week, bro.
Florida will be tough.
Florida front seven. Listen, Florida front seven is really good, bro.
Yeah,
They got about 3 guys on that front seven that's gonna get drafted, and they got a safety in Castell that's really really good. McLean, who was the number one corner in the country coming out of high school, that went to Colorado and then transferred to Florida. A lot of people been saying he's figuring it out. A lot of his problems was he wasn't showing up to meetings on time. He wasn't showing up to practice on time. He wasn't going to
still.
class. Yeah, like stuff like that off the field that he wasn't conforming with.
Mm-hmm.
But Billy Napier and a lot of people over there in Gainesville have been saying that he is turned over a new leaf. He's being a leader. And this guy, I think McLean is about 6'1", 6'2". He long. He athletic. He could play. The other corner they got, last name Moore. He's really good. Like Florida defense gonna be tough, bro.
It'll be interesting because I think every defense, like the Clemson defense was so stressful because of that pass rush that you thought was going to be there all night. And I'm not saying that about TJ Parker, Peter Woods. It's just that the offensive line handled them better than I thought they would have, and I could see why potentially that could be the toughest defense. But to your point, with a Florida, with a Oklahoma, maybe even with an A&M, there's going to be other styles, other schemes, other methods that they attack LSU, and then at the end of the year, we're gonna really be able to see who the toughest defense was. But
Yeah, and I mean, you never know. They might meet up with Georgia in the SEC championship.
hey, I'll be ready for another trip to Atlanta, G. I ain't lying. Let's close out this segment. BK said he wanted one portal window, dog. The oversight committee voted on it. All they need is the administration committee to approve it by October 1st. Right now, you have two windows, December and April. Everybody wants one window in January. Now, I feel like that's smart. It'll change a good bit. It'll change the movement. It'll not give you as many opportunities to be able to get in, get out, get in, get out. That's good from a stability standpoint for the programs. You know, who's on your roster, you know, who you got, who you need, whatever the case may be. You're not going to have to keep scratching your head and at the last second have a Micah Hudson or a Joey Aguilar situation or a Nico Amaya or whatever the hell. He ended it too, saying he doesn't want to move signing day. Because we did talk about this a month or two ago, about a signing day in the summer, but BK said something that I agree with. That's going to screw up high school football because now you're going to have, let's just say, half of your prospects like, I'm done, G. I'm done. I got my offer. I'm signing in the summer. I'm over. I'm not playing high school football. And I think that could be a direct effect that not a lot of people are talking about. What's your thoughts on that? And do you think that that's something that could be a possibility, or is that kind of just a worry that's not realistic?
If they were to change the signing date to the summer, that would stop kids from playing in high school senior season, bro. You know how many kids that's committed to schools and are 4-star and 5 stars, and they know without a shadow of a doubt they're signing with the school when signing day comes, and they still play their senior year. So I don't understand why BK said that. I don't think that would deter anybody from playing their senior year, unless they dealing with an injury or something to that nature. But so I don't agree with that. Moving the portal window to January and getting rid of the spring portal window, I love it. I love it, bro. Because last year I thought it was a damn disgrace that toward the end of the season, going into bowl season, you got guys entering the portal. You got guys entering the portal while the playoff going on. That's in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Like, what are we doing? So I'm glad they fixed that. That was just something I think they didn't really think about when they made these portal windows. So I think you're gonna see more guys playing in bowl games. You're gonna see more guys staying tapped in throughout the whole season. And what it's also going to do, it's going to make schools have to have real conversations once the season ends instead of playing it out through the spring. Because like some of them conversations when they have those exit meetings with their players is okay. Look, this shit ain't go as well as you thought it was going to go, or you didn't get the playing time you thought, or you didn't meet expectations. Look, come back in the spring. Let's see how it work out. If it don't work out, get in the portal. Nah, it ain't gonna be any of that anymore. Now you're gonna have to make a decision right after the season, or because the portal window from January 2nd to January 11th.
That's what they're saying. Yep.
So the national championship is when, like January 5th or something like that, huh?
Let me get an exact date.
Something like that.
Let me find this.
I think
Taking me forever to find this.
I think it might be January 5th or something.
Let's see. Man, it keep pulling up on Yahoo. January 9th. January 9th in Miami.
January 9th.
That's
So in the last day of the portal window is January 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the national championship, you only got 2 days, bro.
You got 48 hours, G.
You got 48 hours. But yeah, I like it, man. I like it. I think this is going to set things up and being able to have your roster in place sooner than later and not being so much chaos. like Tennessee was in the spring, losing their starting quarterback. Like, bro, that was a disgrace on how that all went down. And I'm just glad the NCAA and these committees figured out like this is gonna put some programs at a disadvantage. So let's move this portal window to January and get rid of the spring so these programs can have their roster set up the right way and these kids can have these real conversations in their exit meetings with their head coaches or their position coaches to figure out like I'm either staying or I'm going and not doing some last minute shit in the spring and putting people in a situation to where man who the hell my starting quarterback about to be week
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, you're finally watching the kinks slowly start to get ironed out of this transfer portal and NIL stuff. Like
That's why I say
it's
do
getting better.
not be surprised if Nick Saban come back. He like all this. He see some guidelines coming into place. He see some organization. He's
Structure?
seeing
Yeah.
structure. He's seeing structure. See, don't be surprised if he come
It's the
back.
little things for Coach Saban, bro. Hey, let's give a quick score prediction real quick because that what you just said, Nick Saban, Alabama. We're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna talk about killing the board in a little bit. Before we go to that, I want to give an opportunity to give you Nostradamus moment. What's the exact score? LSU and LA Tech. I'll give you mine after. I want you to go first.
45-13.
Okay, we close. We close. I got 49-9, and I planned it out because I gave them 3 field goals. LSU covers the spread in this instance. They're getting close to a 50 ball. I think Nuss can get you to what, 28, 35? And then after that, Michael Van Buren, Colin Hurley, y'all come in and y'all get a little line. Yeah, get another touchdown or 2 on top of it.
How
I
much is
think
that
LSU can
spread?
get
How
close.
much is that spread?
37.
45-13. Huh?
Oh, the spread right here
No, no,
of what?
no. How much is
Yours?
that spread? If they beat them 45-13, so they won by how much?
They will win by 32. So you're 5 under the spread. You have
All
LA
right.
Tech
And I
covering.
said 28, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm
It
gonna go with
matches up.
5. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 45-13.
It matches up. It matches up. I got, at 49-9, I'm at an even 40. The spread heavy, but guess what? I'm rolling with it. I'm rocking with it. We got some people in the chat right here. Hold up. We got Blanche, got Floby, got Devin Johnson. I see y'all. Talking about the offense, wondering if the offense is going to be able to pick up, wondering if they're going to be able to, you know. Look,
Bro,
Blanche
they're
is
gonna
saying it's
have
going to take a few
they're
more
gonna
weeks for the
have
offense to roll.
450 plus total offers on Saturday.
No doubt. No doubt. I think so 100%, especially with how many total yards you were able to put up last week with 2 turnovers, and that's your toughest defense. Gee, we in for a treat. I ain't gonna lie. I think LSU's gonna 100% go ham
Bombs over
on Saturday.
Baghdad.
Man, they might put me out there, G. I might be able to throw a couple. Let's talk about killing the board because I think I'm on a side of the fence that not a lot of people are on. G, I'm excited to talk about this one. All right, college football fans, bro, assholes, straight up, brutal. You you lose one game you're supposed to win. It's over with. You're done. Pack your bags, go. Don't even go back home. Don't do nothing. Just get out of the stadium. That's how everybody's acting with killing the board. Everybody saw the L. There's rumors now. There's rumors of the boosters getting pissed. There's rumors of all kind of things, as there usually are. I don't know how true some of them are. It's a rough game. Gee, it's still so damn early that I feel like this is a comparable situation to Billy Napier and Ryan Day last season because a lot of people wanted them out of the doors before they even had a chance to finish the year. Billy Napier obviously got some big wins. It was LSU and Ole Miss, correct? And then Ryan Day loses the last game to your Michigan boys, but then goes hoist the damn national championship trophy, dog. It's like sometimes the overreactions happen, and it's just brutal to watch. And I think Kalen DeBoer could be in another one of those situations. Alabama fans are spoiled. He takes over from a legend in Nick Saban, and some people are like, well, Bama's been on the way down. Bro, no, they have not. Since 2010, G, they have had an 11-win season every single year. Since 2010, they've also won 8 SEC titles. Last 5 years with Saban, Alabama was champions 3 out of 5 years. 60% of the field, they're winning the SEC title game. Here's my last take on this, and I'm gonna let you talk. I don't think you buy out this guy at $63 million. There's a variety of reasons. One, that's too damn much for one person. Then you're gonna have to buy him out, hire a new person, while still keeping up with the toughest conference in NIL, and just the fact that NIL is so competitive as a whole, regardless. Like Alabama fans a few years ago were in a completely different spot. You're running the table. You're the best team. You got all the resources, the best coach, best recruiting classes, yada, yada, yada. You're in a point right now, G, where that could really go AWOL if you make the wrong decision. I think Jimbo Fisher could be one of the last major buyouts that we've seen in college football, only because why throw away $60 million when the experiment, this is the second year. Like, why not give him one more season and just see what happens? Like the Brian Kelly situation. We're in year 4 now. If it was up to a lot of people in Baton Rouge, he probably would have been gone. But now look at what LSU's able to do. And I know you said on Monday about the Bill Belichick thing. Hey, programs take time. I think Alabama, although it's a top program, it's still in that same situation. I think, yeah, he could be on the hot seat, but you got to give him the rest of the season to be able to get his ass off the hot seat. I don't think week 1 is going to be when I'm firing Kalen DeBoer, dog.
First of all, Bama fans need to be realistic with themselves. If you think back on when Saban decided to call it a career and they started looking for a head coach to come to Tuscaloosa, a bunch of people was turning that job down. So Kalen DeBoer really was like he really got that job by default. He wasn't even on their radar to hire when they first started their coaching search. So let's get that out the way. Let's put that in perspective for these Bama fans that's so unrealistic and how the hell he can't get it done. And let's think back on his coaching journey, bro. He went to Fresno State. He went 3-3 his first year because of the COVID year. The next year he went 9-3. Then he left there and went to Washington. His first year at Washington, I think he went 11-2 and won in the Alamo Bowl. Then his second year he won and got to the national championship, went undefeated. Right? To me, he doesn't have a lot of body of work when you talk about being successful as a head coach on a D1 level. I think he won a whole bunch of championships on the NAIA level, but as far as on the D1 level, he doesn't have a lot of experience of being at the top. He just don't. That's 4 years of him coaching on a D1 level, and you decided to hire this man as the head coach and the successor of Nick Saban. Y'all should have knew what y'all was getting yourself into. Now, let me talk about my mindset and my thought process when we talking when I revert back to what you said about them buying him out. Why would we buy him out, bro? Why would we buy him out? It's year 2. Give it some time. If this was year 4 and they lost a game like that against Florida State and in week 1 to an unranked team, I could kind of understand the rumors. This is year 2. Let's go back to last year, bro. All right. They went 9-4. Yeah, I know that's not the Bama standard. But guess what? He beat LSU
By a lot.
in Death Valley and blew them out.
Blew them
He
out, dog.
beat Auburn, right? Which is their rival. And everybody know you can't lose to Auburn when you're in Tuscaloosa.
Nope.
Right? They beat Georgia, who was in the college team, who was in the college playoffs and was number 4 in the country. And that was a hell of a game.
SEC champs.
And I want to say I think they put up 38 points on that Georgia defense, right? What made last year look so bad, they lost to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
That was 2 really, really bad losses. If you take those 2 losses away, they're in the college playoff last year. I'm just saying. So put that in perspective. Now I know coming out week 1 against Florida State, that just left a sour taste in everybody's mouth by how the season ended last year. But guess what? It's only one game. There's only one game. Nah, I'm not saying he shouldn't get no scrutiny. I'm not saying people shouldn't be criticizing him, but let it play out, man. Let it play out. The only thing that I would say about Kalen DeBoer, and I don't know how true this is just things I've been hearing from people that's in that Bama program. I heard the day of the game, or the night before the game, they had players up to 2-3 o'clock in the morning having their friends come up to the room, getting DoorDash, guys on the field with their phones. Like, I heard a lot of that kind of stuff was going on the day of the game and the day of the game. So if that kind of type of stuff is taking place in the Alabama program, that's something he needs to get fixed immediately because it's going to have a domino effect. So Bama fans, pump the brakes. Let this kind of play out and see how the rest of the season goes before you start talking about a damn buyout after one damn game this season.
Yeah. I'm going to add on to what you're saying, too. I even heard that there was trouble getting the buses on game day to the game. Like, some people weren't lined up, answering roll call. Like, there are little things that are question marks. But to your point, yeah, come on now. Don't be prisoners of the moment, guys.
Yep.
Just chill pill a little bit, a little relaxed. Let's go give our top 3 picks of the week before we hop out of here. Did good last week, G. Only had 1 pick. We went 1-0.
Man, you got to start keeping track of my record, man.
We will. All right. From here on out,
Last year you ain't do it, bro.
it's over with. We're gonna keep track of it for the good or the bad, because it might be bad.
Yeah, no, the
We might
overall
regret
record.
it.
Yeah,
We
come on.
gotta be transparent with the people. We don't want to hold
No,
no lies, pull no punches. We're gonna
no.
be 100% with y'all. All right. Here we go. This is one of my favorite games. Illinois versus Duke. I don't think a lot of people are giving this game enough credit, right? Both are middle of the pack teams. Gee, it's probably why you got Big Ten and ACC mid teams competing. This is the third meeting ever between them. They each have one game. It'll be a nice little quarterback battle, though. You got Darian Mensah, Luke Altemeyer. Saw Luke at the NPA, so shout out to him. Illinois has a lot of experience at O-line. Here's the deal. I think Mensah's the X factor. I think he's a dog. I like him. Could be personal bias, obviously. He's been at Tulane, and then now he goes over to the East Coast, and I want to watch him blossom into the type of talent I think he could be. He had 303 last week. I think this week, Duke could upset Illinois at number 11. And a lot of people are thinking, damn, you going to pick that? It ain't even underdog that bad. It's a 3-point spread. They're plus 110. I don't think it's the craziest pick in the world. I'm riding Duke, dog.
I'm going Illinois. I can't. What's the head coach for Illinois? How you pronounce his last name?
I don't even know.
Villa something. I just remember him from when he was at Wisconsin, and he's always been Belima. Yeah, he's always been a tough-minded coach. All his teams are always gritty and gutsy and play hard. I just think this Illinois program was an afterthought before he got there, and for him to have them in the top 25 and being relevant in college football, and knowing his track record on how his teams are, they're gonna win on Saturday. They're gonna have a shot.
And hey, they ain't even just ranked, dog. They top 12. Like, they're in a theoretical CFP ranking, so shout out to them. I ain't gonna lie. I like Darian Mensah, though. I don't know. I got a little Mensah bias in me. Let's roll over to this next game. SMU and Baylor. Insane total, dog. 65 total points. Both offenses highly respected. Sawyer Robinson versus Kevin Jennings. This could be a nice little shootout. This prop caught my attention, G, and we're gonna get a little grimy. I'm gonna give you a pick at the end, but this is something I think you can sprinkle a little line yap on. The value piece here. The total for the first quarter is at 13.5. Now, you could have both teams score a touchdown. You could have one team come out to a 14-0 lead. I say take it at minus 110. That's a good little look. Baylor kept it close with Auburn last week. They got smushed in the end, though. I'm going to ride SMU. It's a team with playoff chances. You can get them at minus 110. This is a pick 'em game all over the place. I like SMU. That's just who I'm riding with.
I'm going with SMU too. I like Kevin Jennings. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the country. I think he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. I think they win that. I think they beat Baylor. I think they win by 7 or more.
Okay. Heisman Trophy candidate, boy. If that comes to fruition, I don't think anybody in the country will be able to take that claim over you. That's your planting the flag right now. That's your guy.
I like Kevin Jennings. Really, really good player.
Man, I don't know who my guy would be. I'm gonna just be basic and go with Jeremiah Smith. I don't know. I'd have to sit on it hard. All right. G, I'm opening the floor to you first, man. Yeah, this is your boys. Michigan and Oklahoma, the best game of the week. Sharon Moore's alma mater. Week 2. Take the floor away, G. Just come on. How you feeling, man?
Mateer gonna be on his back all day long.
Whoa.
Michigan got one of the best defenses in the country. I'm telling you right now, Bryce Underwood gonna put his cape on. I'm glad he got that week 1 game out the way against New Mexico to get his confidence up. He gonna put on the show on Saturday. I know Brent Venables is one of the best defensive minds in the country, but he ain't gonna know what hit him when he see 19 behind center on Saturday. Man, I got Michigan, man. I gotta win it by 3 or more.
Okay, look, this is my safe pick. Under 45, both defenses are phenomenal. Like you said, Michigan has a great defense. Oklahoma, I think, has a great defense as well. Venables is now calling plays for them, so the defensive mind is going to be able to show off a little bit. I think the pressure's getting to Venables because you sign that extension. You don't get many big wins. Everybody's breathing down your neck like they are with DeBoer. He's going to be itching a little bit to try to get something going. I don't know. I'm leaning Oklahoma. I like John Mateer. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the SEC. So this is one of the moments, G, well, we had the first pick. You took Illinois. I took Duke. This is another one of the moments where we on both sides of the fence here. I like Oklahoma. I'm feeling it. But my big pick, my lock for you, would be under 45 because I do think this is a defensive showcase. I want to ask you something, though. Bryce Underwood's first game in a hostile environment. You think he's ready for the moment? This is a generational talent right here. He ain't flustered.
I think he's ready. I think they're going to keep the game plan simple for him to where they don't overload him. And his instincts and his ability, his natural ability is going to be able to take over. I think he get a big win in Norman on Saturday, bro. And I'm not even being biased when I say that.
Okay. All right. We'll see how it go, man. We're going to be here live, post-game show. LA Tech, me and G-Sportz after an LSU 50 ball, I'd imagine. We're going to be wrapping it up on Death Valley's Phil, the real Death Valley. Stop with that Death Valley Junior stuff. I ain't even going to address it no more for the rest of the season. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Y'all smash that thumbs up. Go follow my guy on Twitter at G_sports. You know the drill. Anything you want to say before you hop out of here for this week?
Don't play.
At all. Can't do it. Appreciate your time, dog. Appreciate everybody for joining. Y'all have a hell of a weekend and go Tigers. 2-0.